Hello everyone, welcome back to the editorial analysis and daily answer writing at 9 p.m. I am Mohana Priya, faculty at Officers IAS Academy. If you are here for the first time, I would request you to go and watch the introduction video of this playlist to know more about this program and also to know how to participate in this initiative. So without any delay, let us get into the topic of discussion for today. A recent finding by NASA has indicated that the total amount of freshwater on Earth has abruptly declined since 2014 and has continued to remain low since then. And the study has also indicated that this abrupt decline in the freshwater resources can permanently put the continents in a persistent dry phase. Now, a quick glance about the freshwater resources that is available on the Earth. Though we call the Earth the blue planet, it is important to know that just 2.5% of the water which is available on this entire planet Earth is freshwater. And among this 2.5%, it is important to know that a major proportion, that is about 68.7% of the freshwater is trapped in the form of ice sheets and glaciers. And the next major component, that is 30% of the freshwater resources, is available in the form of groundwater. And the remaining 1.2% is available in the form of surface water, that is in the form of rivers, lakes, swamps, marshes, soil moisture, water vapor in the atmosphere, small amount of water in the living beings, etc. So, the recent NASA finding has indicated that this 2.5% of freshwater which is available on the Earth's surface is declining. So, now we are going to discuss about the causes of decline in the freshwater resources available on the Earth. No wonder the first important cause is global warming. So, we are going to discuss in detail how global warming is contributing to the decline of freshwater resources. As we know, the phenomenon of global warming is increasing the overall temperature of the Earth. Due to the increase in the overall temperature, there is rapid melting of ice sheets and glaciers, and all this fresh water is directly going and merging with the oceans, which is nothing but saline water. And also, the increase in the temperature of the Earth is causing more amount of evaporation from the freshwater resources which is available on the land, including rivers and lakes. And also, it is found that since there is more amount of evaporation, more amount of moisture is found in the atmosphere more than the soil, which is creating a direct impact on the dryness of the soil. Soils are becoming more and more dry, and it is resulting in frequent drought conditions. And when you're going to have drought conditions, it is going to create a loop mechanism where in order to tackle the drought, you will have to extract more amount of groundwater resources, further depleting the freshwater resources. And another way in which global warming is contributing to the decline of freshwater resources is that it has varied the climatic patterns around the world, and rainfall patterns have been thoroughly disturbed, increasing the gap between the rainfall. When there is a long gap between precipitation occurrences, it is going to make the soil very dry, and of course drought conditions will persist. During the drought conditions, the nature of the soil is going to become very dry and compact, such that the permeability of the soil decreases. When the permeability of the soil decreases, the soil will not be able to absorb the water and recharge the groundwater, but rather there will be increased surface runoff, and all the precipitation which falls on such soil will rather go and merge with the oceans. These are few ways in which global warming has contributed to the decline in the freshwater resources. Apart from this, the major causes are the rapid increase in the population. Due to the increase in population, we need more and more freshwater resources to satisfy the needs of the people, because of which lakes, rivers, groundwater resources are overexploited. And the second major cause apart from population increase is agriculture. Agriculture is heavily dependent on water resources and especially irrigation, and therefore there is rapid decrease in the groundwater resources due to over extraction of groundwater to feed the crops. And another important cause for the decline of freshwater resources is increased discharge of industrial effluents and pollutants into the freshwater resources. So when you're going to increase the pollutants released in the freshwater resources, it is going to make the availability of freshwater very less for the population, and very limited amount of water only is going to be available for consumption. So that will again decrease the freshwater availability. And another important cause is the clearing of forests and wetlands, which provide very important ecosystem services like acting as natural water filters. They play a very important role in flood control, etc. So when you're going to clear these natural ecosystems, it is again going to contribute to the decline in the freshwater resources. Having discussed the causes of decline in the freshwater resources, we're going to see the impacts this is going to have all around the world. The first major impact of the decline in the freshwater resources is going to be the agricultural sector and especially the farmer communities. Because when you don't have enough freshwater resources, it is going to directly impact the crop productivity, and that can have a direct impact on the livelihood of the farmers, and they can be pushed into poverty. And when freshwater resources are not available for the production of crops, it can directly impact the food production as well. So we'll not be able to grow the crops which we were able to grow earlier, and therefore that can have a direct impact on the nutritional availability, and as well as it can push us into a state of famine as well. And apart from that, the human beings will not have enough clean water for them to wash, feed and drink. That can have direct sanitation impacts. It can also result in health issues and spreading of waterborne diseases like diarrhea and cholera. And there are so many varieties of plants and animals which depend on natural water resources for their survival. So if the freshwater availability is going to decrease, it can have a direct impact on the distribution of flora and fauna, and many species can also get extinct. And few other impacts of the decline in the freshwater includes the loss of natural ecosystems. Like when you're going to have increased drought conditions, it can result in the drying up of lakes and rivers, swamps, wetlands. All these are going to be constantly getting decreased, and that can also have a serious impact on the ecosystems around them. So now that we have discussed the impacts of the freshwater decline, let us discuss few steps that can be taken in order to tackle this problem. So first, we have to focus on sustainable irrigation methods. Like instead of spending too much of water for growing the crops, we have to focus on precision irrigation techniques. Example is drip irrigation. Then we have to also have a check on the over extraction of groundwater for both agricultural purposes as well as to meet the population needs. So we have to check on the over extraction of groundwater, extraction of water from rivers, which is resulting in rapid decline of freshwater resources. Another important step that can be taken with regard to tackling this problem is to increase the investments in desalination plants where we can convert the salt water into fresh water, focus on water recycling methods and smart water management systems. We also have to revive our natural ecosystems like rivers, lakes, wetlands, which are being encroached for the purpose of satisfying the needs of the population. We also have to shift our focus in educating and spreading awareness among communities about sustainable water management practices. And very important point is international cooperation, because this is a problem which cannot be solved by a single country or an individual person. It needs the cooperation of every country, because there are so many natural resources which are shared between countries. Transported resources constitute a major proportion of the freshwater resources, and when there is going to be a freshwater decline, it can create tensions among countries as well when there is sharing of water. So international cooperation is very, very essential for tackling this problem. So on the whole, we understand that there is a collective effort that is needed to ensure ecological sustainability and also to preserve this very important reserve for the future generations. So based on the above discussion that we have had, I'm going to give you a question. Analyze the factors contributing to the drastic decline in the freshwater levels and the subsequent effects of this decline. So this will be a 10-mark question for which you're expected to write an answer in 150 words. So keep making use of this initiative to the maximum possible extent. This is going to be very useful for your mains. So keep writing every day. All the best.